Because we going live. All right, y'all, we live. So we got LB in the building. We got Philly Mike from the Philly Talk podcast. Of course, you got me, Symone, with the sports. Y'all, how y'all doing? Y'all soldiers. Y'all soldiers in the Twitter streets going to war for us every day. How are y'all doing?
I'm doing good.
Better than the Cowboy fans. Let's just say that, right?
Right,
Just
right,
talking
right.
behind the stage a little bit. But yeah, man, a lot of ways this draft could go. Haven't spoke to y'all separately or together about this draft as of late. And there's some big news. We got a couple visits, a couple rumors, a couple fan favorites, a couple smart picks, a couple things that I think that the Eagles will look at before we get into the final week draft visit that make things look more clearer as things come to light.
Man, you said fan favorites. I don't know. This is a cult favorite, bro. Like, the way that Bijan has a chokehold on our fan base, I don't know if I've ever seen a player have such a chokehold on the fans. Like, it's a large portion of the fans. They don't want to hear nothing else. If it ain't Bijan, it's Bijan or bust to them. They can't fathom any other. They can't fathom the fact that we lost Javon Hargrave. They can't fathom the impact a Nolan Smith, a Jalen Carter have on the team. It's just Bijan or bust. Bijan, RPO, unstoppable offense. That's it.
And those are the ones that's going to get their heart broken because we're not taking a running back at 10 in this draft. I just don't see it happening. You know what I mean? I'm not mad at nobody who likes the talent that Bijan Robinson is, but come on, man. We know the team that we have, right? We know the GM that we have. It's just not happening. You know what I mean? It makes no sense. I can go on and on and on about why I don't want to do it, but if they do it, I won't be mad. I mean, if you draft Bijan Robinson, this is how I look at it. You better be hoisting a Lombardi within 2 years, or it's going to backfire.
1 year, shoot. What you mean 2?
Right, exactly. I feel you. I mean, with so many different needs and so many different positions that you could set up for the future. Like, I looked at the top 50 running backs just from a yardage standpoint in the NCAA last year. There's the 34th ranked running back on this list has over 1,000 yards rushing and 10 rushing touchdowns. That lets you know how deep this running back class is coming out of the draft. If you're going to draft a running back in the top 10, he better be elite. He better be like generational. And I personally don't see that when I look at Bijan's film.
I don't get why they're so like fixated on, like, nobody's denying Bijan. Like, but their buzzword is generational talent. Jalen Carter ain't a generational talent. Jalen Carter can't be a fixture of this team for the next 4 years or plus when we got an agent Fletcher Cox right there. Nolan Smith can't be a fixture of this team. I don't get why they feel like Bijan is the only person that could come in and make an impact on this team. When you try to make a case with these folks, like I said, they won't discuss anything else. They can't fathom anything else. Bijan got their mind clouded.
Yeah, look, I'll say this. I'm with you in the sense of I hear the reasoning for it. And, you know, it makes sense to where we are, kind of, if you look at us being a team that's going to compete for a championship for 4 years straight, 3 years straight, or at least under Jalen Hurts' totality of his contract. If we're talking 4, 5, 6 years, we're not going to be in the top 10 again. It's a luxury pick because we have another one. Blah, 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 blah. We have multiple picks coming up. You can really get the youth on this defense in the next couple years. However, I think it's not what Howie does. So until I get more information, and like, yeah, I ran with some of the things that, we want a dynamic offense. And yes, there's been some national stories and some other things that link Bijan to Philly. And you got to listen to it because we did bring him in early in the draft visiting period. And I do think that this guy is very talented. I think the combination of speed, athleticism, and even strength is just there. I think he is going to be, whoever he does play for, he's going to be fighting for a Pro Bowl roster spot in his rookie season. I honestly believe that. But as to you, what you said, Symone, we got to fill this defense. That's important. We don't got to be maybe as good as we do, but we got to get close to that top 12, top 10-ish to compete, I think, or at least be a defense that is opportunistic, like Kansas City's at least. It shows up at times. And Jalen Carter to me is a guy that if he's there, I can't pass up. Like, I can hear the Bijan Robinson, maybe if we trade back or this, that, and the third. And I know it's the fan favorite and they don't want to hear it, but if Jalen Carter's there, I just think that's a no-brainer. I'm willing to believe that Howie Roseman's done his due diligence. And if he told him that, the rumor that went around saying that he's not getting past 10 if he's there, I think that, we have all the access with former teammates talking to him ourselves. I'm going to believe in Howie. You can't make sure about Howie and not believe in him, right, LB?
Right. But that's the thing, though. That's what we do, though. We build within the trenches. We didn't get to the Super Bowl the last two times in the last 6 years without building the front on the offensive line and the defensive side of the ball. So why would we venture off into what we don't do? Like, we don't draft running backs high. The fact of the matter is this: anybody can run behind this offensive line. Bijan Robinson, Tajon Robinson, Will Smith, anybody with pads on can run behind this offensive line. So you know what I mean? If the running back we just got this offseason, I don't know why. If Penny stays healthy, if Rashad Penny stays healthy and Kenneth Gainwell continues to improve, you really don't need to look for a running back that's going to take the bulk of the carries. If you really needed a running back that desperately and you think a running back can help push this team over the edge, I would have went and got King Henry for $10 million. You know what I mean? If you thought that you wanted to make a run that bad with a running back, I like Bijan, man. He's definitely solid. But it's a lot of running backs in this draft. I mean, you can get top talent at the running back position behind this line in the 4th round. That's just the facts of the matter. Now, I'm not mad at anybody that wants Bijan, but positional value got to come into play. People got to understand that this is a business. You don't spend a top 10 pick on somebody that, you know what I mean, you might not even extend. Devontae Smith is up for a contract extension. Zeke wanted his money after the 3rd year. You know what I mean? If Bijan comes in and Bijan is that guy, he's going to be paid after the 3rd year. And what type of chokehold does that put us in terms of long-term success and trying to rebuild this roster? Miles Sanders is gone for $6 million. The market will dictate to you how many of these guys are running around that are good. You can get a good running back for $6 million a year. It don't make sense to me.
Yeah, and I just want to correct the chat real quick. I understand how to say due diligence. I messed up. It is what it is.
What did you say?
Go ahead. I said something like silly.
He said diligence.
Yeah,
it's all good. It's all good. A little
I didn't
mess
even
up
notice that. But yeah, I think that again, I feel like we all see both sides. Like, we understand why people want Bijan, but our preference would be to put the focus on the defense, and especially the defensive line, with the big hit that we took. But nobody is denying the fact that we can't use another running back just because Rashad Penny has been falling off the bones, and it's no guarantee that he's going to hold up fully this year. Nobody is arguing with the fact that we might not need another insurance policy bruiser back. But we're just saying we don't have to get that. It doesn't have to be Bijan. There's other options at running back in this draft. I'm just saying, if it's after a Jalen Carter, there's no other largely impactful defensive tackle in this draft that could come close to filling the shoes of what Javon Hargrave was for us last year. And people want to talk about how explosive and unstoppable the offense was. Let's not forget how the defense helped out this offense last season. Field position, giving them so many opportunities to get back on the field, getting them other teams up off the field quick, fast. How many times in that Colts game did the defense keep giving the offense the ball back? Like, the Saints game, the defense kept us in that game. We kept getting opportunities. Like, defense was turning into offense for us last season. So if we take that hit, who's to say the offense even gonna get that many opportunities? Is all I'm saying.
Right, and it's the facts of the matter. What would you rather do? Would you rather have Bijan and you can have this offensive line together for a couple more years with Bijan? Would you rather pair Jordan Davis with Jalen Carter long term for a lot of years to come, with Milton Williams getting some of them reps? It's all about the long-term plan. And Bijan Robinson, I mean, next year is going to be great running backs next year. The year after that is going to be great running backs. That's just what happens. You know what I mean? It's always great running backs. It's a kid right now playing with a football who wants to be a running back. Running backs just, you know what I mean? They just come. You know what I mean? So You know what I mean? Like I said, I'm not going to be mad if we do it because with or without him, we still going to average 30 points a game. The offense is intact, but I just don't think you have to do it at 10. I don't.
Yeah, look, and I look at it like this. I heard the kid's name, but I didn't start watching film till a couple days ago. Really today a lot. That Zach Charbonnet out of UCLA.
Chardonnay.
Make sure I can pronounce his name right because y'all would kill me on like 3 videos ago.
I call him Chardonnay.
But I mean 6'1", 220. I know a lot of people say, look at his 40. He ran a 4.53, but his 10-yard split was 1.53, so he can get up there quickly. He's 220. He gives you that bruiser type style, but he's nimble with his feet. One of his biggest knocks when he was at Michigan before he transferred to UCLA, and I know a lot of people don't like UCLA running backs, that he couldn't catch out the backfield. He got that up. He played 10 games last year, and I believe 8 games were over 100 yards. One of the games that wasn't over 100, he had 95. He had a 7-touchdown 3-game span of 7 touchdowns. UCLA used him, but in a small sample size, so he got tread on the tire. He's 22. He's a guy I think that you can find at 62, maybe even in the 90s if you're lucky, depending on what style running back people want. And again, I think that Bijan might get a lot of love. Gibbs might get a lot of love, and then they might fall off with, hopefully we can get this guy in the 4th or the 5th or this, that, and the 3rd, because there are, according to draft analysts, they're saying this is like 10 deep with quality running backs. And I'm not saying quality to superstar, blah, 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 but LB does make a point. Even when we believed in Miles Sanders, even when we believed in certain guys, hey, since the first Super Bowl win, it's been a committee, and you don't get a guy like Bijan. If Bijan's on a team, Kenny G, Rashad Penny, don't even dress unless he gets hurt. You know what I mean? Like, why would you take him out the game at that point? So the Eagles are set up to where, let the board fall, and maybe it happens. Maybe Bijan stays on the board longer. Nobody thought Nakobe Dean will be past the 1st, let alone the 2nd, let alone the 3rd. So who knows if it's 30, if it's 2nd round and Bijan's not drafted and everybody's, wetting their pants. We got to see, because there will be a name that everybody has been touting that is in a range that we just are like, huh? Who?
Right.
But there's so many quality stars.
Because they were saying Nakobe Dean was top 15, top 10, shoot, at that. So I'm not sure. Marcus came with the $2 super chat. He said, keep adding to the trenches. Appreciate you. And then Hosea Jones, what about Trey Sermon and Kennedy Brooks at running back? Right. Kennedy Brooks had a monster career in college. Didn't get to see much of him. Trey Sermon was sitting on the practice squad the whole year. Now, Nick Sirianni said he loved, what Trey Sermon didn't get to see the field like they would have liked, because, we had whatever, Miles and Gainwell. But Trey Sermon is still there. I mean, we can't deny Trey Sermon is a little thumper. We keep talking about we want that thumper, we want that bruiser to take the pressure off of Jalen Hurts on 3rd downs and whatnot. We can't deny what we got in Trey Sermon. I mean, he only got to play in 1 game. Like, I don't get why people are so against giving Trey Sermon just a little. Like, can we not see what we got?
I feel like it's a practice thing. I think it's a practice thing with that. I think that, if he had something, he would have been on the field. I just don't think he's showing it in practice. It's clear. We keep bringing back Boston Scott. Every year we bring back Boston Scott. Like, when one of these dudes going to step up and challenge Boston spot for that 3rd spot? Nick Sirianni can say whatever he want to say about Trey Sermon. If Trey Sermon was good, if he was better than Boston Scott at his size, he'd be on the field. You know what I mean? I think you need to draft a running back. Regardless,
I agree there. And I will say, to your point, and I said this, like, you can't be out after the season talk about, oh, he did stuff in practice that made me want to play him, and then just not even play him. You can't say that. However, to Trey Sermon's point of possibly playing this year more, he came in the middle of last year, right? We got him off the waiver wire from the San Francisco 49ers. So maybe with no offseason, no anything, it was a little harder to get inside with the coach like Nick Sirianni, where a guy like Boston is reliable. Now, if you are that good, you just be seen throughout practice and get playing time. But I am curious to see what Trey Sermon roles look like this offseason compared to getting on this team midway through and then going through the day-to-day stuff. But I agree with you. If he was that good, why you ain't let us see
Right.
it?
I can't wait to see for preseason. Preseason is when we'll see that. Like we're not about to waste a regular season down on this. You know what I mean? Kenneth Gainwell gave us the insurance policy of we don't have to, give Miles Sanders the bag. We can let Miles Sanders test free agency based upon what Kenny Gainwell showed us. Boston Scott has shown us that he's reliable. You know what I mean? He could even get some punt return snaps if we were smart. You know what I mean? He could catch out of the backfield. We don't really throw the running backs that much, but if Sherman was going to be something, we would have known it by now. Draft a running back.
I will say this real quick to y'all points about defense and just guys like, if you get that right dude at number 10, whether it's a Jalen Carter, and even if Howie Roseman does go offensive line, which is going to get a lot of people upset, think about this. Fletcher Cox has been on the Eagles for what? 10 plus years. Lane Johnson has been on the Eagles for what? 10 plus years. I'm not saying the OT Peter Saransky is going to be Lane Johnson. I'm not saying Jalen Carter is going to be Fletcher Cox. Maybe they both will, maybe they both won't. All I'm saying is if you invest on that position at that top 10-ish pick, right, you can have an Eagle for a decade. You know what I mean? A decade and not 4 or 5 years. So I'm just saying, I know we're talking about 2023 and running it back right away, but you got to get guys who, can be an Eagle for dang near life and not just, and again, it's not me knocking Bijan won't get a second contract, but I don't think any running back these days are going to get second contracts. I think that Tennessee regrets doing it with Henry at this point because they're trying to kind of move off him because where they're at. Todd Gurley, they regretted Todd Gurley's. Carolina regretted CMC's because if you are one of them beast running backs, your team better be good because if your team is trash and you're a good running back, well, you're still losing. You know what I mean? So
I will say this for the Bijan people that's pro Bijan. Now, usually when you draft a running back in the top 10, those are really bad teams that are picking in the top 10. You're going to be able to start to a contender. Like Mike said, this is a luxury pick. So adding Bijan is not terrible, as opposed to when Saquon went to the Giants. We know they were trash. You know what I mean? It's kind of different, but it's still the positional value for me, which is why I wouldn't do it.
So someone asked a question. If Carter is gone, who do y'all want to draft at 10? And I feel like
it's a real possibility.
I feel like we're all saying what we're saying is we don't want to force the pick at Bijan. Like, we're not trying to go into the draft. We got to get Bijan. If it shakes out, like, for example, if we're at 10 and Jalen Carter isn't there and we decide to trade back and recoup picks, and let's say we're picking at 16 and 17 and a Bijan is there and maybe a Brian Branch and a Nolan Smith isn't, then we go get Bijan. I'm fine with that. I don't want us to force feed or force this pick of Bijan when there's other better options available. But if Jalen Carter is gone, then I feel like we should obviously trade back, recoup some picks, and hopefully a Brian Branch is there at safety, a Nolan Smith, or a Bijan. I'll be fine with those options at like pick 17 if we trade back with like a Pittsburgh Steelers or something like that.
Yeah, I did a crazy mock. I haven't really messed with the mocks things because when I do it, I want to talk about it right away. And I've been low key slacking on the draft content, to be honest. That being said, I did a little mock today. It was crazy. I traded back. It was some dumb stuff. Like I traded back from 10 to 13 with the Jets. I got a second round pick for next year. And I got their 70th overall pick and I gave them our 10th and like the 95th. Whatever. And then the Buccaneers wanted the 13th pick. So I went back to 19. And then when I did that, my first couple picks were nice. I got Nolan Smith, Kalijah Cansey. I got the Antonio Johnson from Texas, whatever that's Texas. But Nolan Smith, you could really find him probably in the teams. I wanted him around 30. I just don't think he's going to be there, to be honest. No, I think Nolan Smith is definitely 13 to 21 type pick. I see him now.
If Jalen Carter isn't there at 10, you got to trade back. You got to trade back and drop down to like 15 or something like that. And then you got to start looking at Kalijah Cansey or Nolan Smith, like Mike said. Like the only way I'm staying at 10 is if I can get Jalen Carter. That's the only way. That's the only way I'm staying at 10. Now, I'm not going to lie. Some of the wide receivers look attractive, but it's just pointless because you still got to pay Smitty. You know what I mean? But I'm dropping out, man. I'm dropping out of Jalen if he ain't there.
What if Howie takes that offensive tackle out of Northwestern? Like, again, that's the only thing. I totally agree. If somebody said, Mike, try to guess what Howie's going to do, and you win $1,000 if you get it right, my guess would be if Carter's there, he's taking Carter.
Mm-hmm.
If he's not there, it's 50% move back or 50%. No, I would say 60% move back and 40% take that left tackle.
Yeah,
it's a
Peter.
real possibility.
Can he play guard? I saw somewhere that he could play guard.
Right tackle. That can play guard. Yes, my bad.
Okay, so the one with the short arms.
Short, yeah.
They say he got short hands. Yes, they're saying he's projected. His size is projected for him to be an outstanding guard in the league. He played tackle in college because they're smaller, but they're saying in the NFL, like he's given Pro Bowl guard material. And I'm with Philly Mike. Like, we know who we're working with. We know Howie, and we know what Howie loves. Howie loves the trenches. Look, last season, first 2 picks, trenches. The draft before last, when we got Devontae Smith, we could have went. We needed a cornerback desperately at that point in that draft. And what do? Landon Dickerson, trenches. We gonna go. One thing about Howie, he gonna go in the trenches. So I understand people not wanting to draft Peter because he's gonna be sitting behind Cam Jurgens, or we might have should Cam Jurgens sit? If he beats out Cam Jurgens and then Cam Jurgens is a second round pick who's now sitting back. I understand like why people are against getting Peter. Even if we trade back a little bit and get Peter, but it's Howie vision and Howie loves, and we can't even be mad. Like, how can we be so proud and boastful on this offensive line? These past couple of years, we've had no problems. We sitting here saying anybody can run behind this offensive line, but then saying, nah, let's not build in the trenches. Like, How do y'all think these legendary, these top offensive lines are built?
I agree.
Yeah, it's just gonna, and I totally agree. And don't even be surprised. Like, I say Peter Skoronski gets picked at like 8 or 9, right before us. By maybe Jalen Carter goes to the Seattle Seahawks, right? And then maybe the Bears, who were looking at him too, they decide we got to protect our quarterback. We're gonna, because the Bears went a heavy defensive free agency. So maybe the Bears take Peter Skoronski. What if then Howie Roseman trades back? We're like, okay, there's Nolan, there's Kalijah, and then he gets Paris Johnson.
Before he does something like that, give me the offensive lineman, man, because I'm really starting to think long term about this. I'd rather Cam Jurgens. I want him to replace Kelsey. I don't want us to move him to guard. You know what I mean? I just don't want that to happen. What if he becomes so outstanding at guard that we now start looking for a center again? I think he's going to be a really good center. So, shit, I'll take Skoronski, man. I mean, listen, I'm comfortable with all of that, man, because it keeps Jalen Hurts protected. You know what I mean? It keeps the offensive line young. And, anybody that's going to Stoutland University is going to learn and be productive. So I'm not mad at that, man. I'm not mad at that pick at all. It's not exciting, but I'm not mad at it.
And then you have 3 years. 3 years because he'll play guard for the next 3 years while Lane is still on his extension at right tackle for 3 years. Then you got 3 years to not have to draft a guard early, but you got 3 years to let Jeff Stoutland University to find that gem in the later rounds of this year's draft. And mind you, we got 12 picks next year. So next year you can get a guy in the 4th or 5th at guard, let him sit on the bench behind Peter, and then put him at guard, and Skoronski goes to right tackle for what? If you can give me a 10-year career at offensive line at a B+ level, you're worth a 1st-round pick. I know it's not the sexy pick, especially when you're trying to when Bijan's in everybody's mind. But I just want to say, for the people that really believe it, I'm not here to say it's not going to happen, like LB said, and I'm not going to be mad if it does. I don't want people to say, Philly Mike, you're mad. No, we got a playmaker. Cool. But I don't want y'all to be sad if it don't. I want you to come with pitchforks.
It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen.
Howie, they're gonna...
I care. Listen, I care about y'all. I don't want y'all sad. It ain't happening. It is not who we are. I just don't see it happen. If it happens, I'm like, oh, I was wrong. It ain't happening though.
If we didn't have such a big void to fill, like, I just think people are they believing that Miles is the only thing we lost, the only big, like the way people are just ignoring what we lost on the interior with Javon Hargrave, like all last season, all the records we were breaking on the defensive line, all the records we were breaking on defense, all that starts up front. We all know that. And it just seemed like once Bijan came along, people don't forgot the fundamentals. People don't forgot the foundation that this team was built on last season.
Nobody was talking about him when college football was in play. I never heard of the guy. Now it's just you know what I mean? I never heard of him. Now it's Bijan. Now it's Bijan Central. You know, and then so I listen. I ain't even hearing about no other running backs. That's what's crazy to me. When it comes to the defensive line, they'll say, "Oh, we're good on Jalen. We can get somebody in the second round. Oh, we good at safety. There's safeties in the second round. We good at linebacker. There's linebackers in the fifth round. But when it's Bijan, he the only running back. It ain't no other running back. So that's what gave me the motivation to start looking. Like I did a small video on Tank Bigsby today out of Auburn. I think dude is like Miles Sanders coming out. You know what I mean? Miles Sanders had a little dancing issue, but I think Tank Bigsby is another guy who nobody not even paying attention to. It's dogs in the running back class this year. You know what I mean? The guy that played for Syracuse, I keep forgetting his name, man. Somebody in the chat, man. Who's the guy that played for Syracuse? This guy, what's his name? Syracuse.
The safety?
No. The running back.
Oh, hold on.
I can't remember his name, but anyway, they were saying this guy is comparable to Austin Eckler. Austin Eckler's at the 34th best position. Like, come on, what are we doing here? I mean, but you know, it is what it is. Then Gibbs is the 50th ranked running back. That just shows you just how extreme Eagles fans can be. You know, at one end of the spectrum is all Bijan, is generational. Then we gonna say the next best guy is the 50th ranked guy, Gibbs.
Sean Tucker, they're saying, is the name for the Syracuse guy.
Right, Sean Tucker is a dog.
But look,
he's a dog.
I'm gonna co-sign. I low key only watched a little of Tank Bigsby, but I do like it. But I really am kind of getting sold on a UCLA guy and Zach Charbonnet. I like him. He's just if you, and again, even if you're looking at the group of backs we got, you could say Rashad Penny is the big body guy, but again, big body guy, health issues. If we do have to run it with Kenny G and a draftee, I just think that Zach Charbonnet complements him so well. So you got the complimentary piece to Kenny G. Plus, I do believe Charbonnet got the skills too. If Kenny goes down or if he gets hot, you can ride the hot hand with him because he's shown the versatility, and he's not going to have super long straight speed, but he's quicker than people think for his bruiser ability. So I just like that as a pick to, as Symone said, if we're saying get Bijan, but you can get a depth safety or a depth this, that could be that depth running back that I think that. And a lot of some of my subs and guys on the comment section kept telling me to watch him. And I kept saying, first of all, I got to watch him just to pronounce his name right. Second of all, I want to see what he can do. And I do like him a lot. So we'll see about that. But I agree. So I'm really on a Jalen Carter thing, to be honest. Like,
I think you trade up. I think you trade up to make sure you get him.
I'm for trading up, but it's too sticky because when you look at the draft order, there's nowhere to get in or fit in for Jalen Carter. Like,
if it's somebody if it's somebody that desperately wants because we had 10.
Just visited him. The Bears scare me to take him right before us. Like,
exactly.
if he gets past Seattle at 5, the Bears are the next team that scares me.
He ain't getting past Seattle. That's my point. If we're going to trade up for Jalen, it'll have to be with Seattle because he ain't getting past Seattle, the Falcons, the Bears. It's one other team in there. I just don't see it. It's just
you might have to give up your first round pick next year to do that. And I'm not trying to do that.
Yeah. We got mad comp picks. We can give up a second next year.
like 3 of them Jones.
That's the guy that's the guy that you got to trade up for. You got to, if you got to get up to 5 to get him. It's a lot of guys in the top 10, but in the top half of the top 10, 1 through 5 or 6 or whatever, that's looking for quarterbacks. So a lot of quarterbacks going to go. So we'll have some wiggle room, but he's not sliding past 5. He's not sliding past 5.
He's not Bijan
going 5. Bijan going to be there at 20. I'm telling you. Bijan is going to be there at 20.
You think there's no possibility that Jalen Carter will be there for the 10th pick?
No,
I don't think so.
I don't think so. I don't feel like he'll get past. If they're smart, like we got to remember, not all these GMs are smart. Yeah. Now the Falcons, they've been a little sketchy when it comes to the drafting lately. But if they're smart, why wouldn't the Falcons take Jalen Carter? They said they're dead set on Desmond Ridder as their quarterback. They said they got two starting.
When they say that,
he really showed that much.
Set on Desmond. They're dead set on Desmond.
Wow.
Now I don't agree with it. But that's
that Washington football team syndrome. They got Howell's their guy, Ritter's their guy. What the?
Now it could be smoke screens, but their GM, the coach, everybody has said Desmond is our guy. They have explicitly said Desmond is their guy. So it could be smoke and mirrors.
I thought Lamar was going there. I really thought Lamar was going there. They
didn't even entertain Lamar, which I said I don't understand at all. I don't get it. Why would you not want Lamar Jackson if you're the Atlanta Falcons? It makes no sense to me.
I mean,
that's crazy. That kind of hurt my feelings, though, because I really had him pegged in for a quarterback. You just kind of messed my whole thing up.
No, I don't. Now, like I said, they have explicitly said 1 billion times, Desmond Ridder is our guy. Now, it could
What pick do the Falcons have?
They have 8.
They need a lot of stuff, though.
They need a lot of stuff, but when I look at the team, they got 2 running backs. One of their running backs had now they could go Pete. They could go offensive line. I feel like they're going to go Pete or Jay. I just can't see it. And he's in Georgia already. He's a Georgia boy.
That's going to kill me.
Yeah. They could go wide receiver.
They could go wide receiver, but remember
Calvin Ridley's gone
last year.
Who'd they get last year?
Drake
London.
Trash.
Now,
he was all right. He was all right.
Wait, Symone, what's the running back they got last year in like the 5th round who had 1,000 yards?
Tyler Algier. And remember,
yeah.
They have a mid off. This is why I keep saying they're not going Bijan. Their offensive line is mid, and this dude was cooking with a mid line. They got Tyler Algier and another dude too, not Cordell. They got 2 backs that kept Cordell Patterson off the field. Yeah, they will be going Jalen Carter.
Yeah, or they could be going offensive line to make sure that they keep Ridder clean. They could be trying to build. So they're definitely a wild card
or defensive line. But I'm saying if Jalen Carter is sitting right there and you the Falcons, come on, y'all, come on.
That's rough. Just like I mean, I just don't feel like the Cardinals going to pass up on it.
Me neither. But
to be honest,
okay, if you get to the Cards,
Will Anderson.
They'll have a choice between Will and Jalen Carter.
Yeah,
he's not getting past Seattle. So if we trading up, it's got to be with Seattle.
That's the
crazy
thing.
So y'all didn't even entertain the possibility of Zeke. Neither one of y'all, right?
I said if y'all want to run it back, my thing with Zeke is this: no, because if anything, like if Zeke is subpar in any category, I'm gonna be extra mad at Zeke because I'm gonna feel like he's corrupting us. Like there's no way I could fully trust Zeke. He is dipped in op. He was the face of the opposition. He wasn't just a former player. He is the face. He's the
scorned face of the ops. I entertained Zeke. I entertained it heavy. It died down, but you're talking about 12 red zone touchdowns. I'm tired of seeing Jalen Hurts running in there, getting hit 17 times for 2 points on extra points or 1 yard read option. I need a back that's going to go in there and be able to score in the red zone. That's why Miles Sanders is not an Eagle, because every time we got to the red zone, we had the QB sneaker or give it to Kenneth Gainwell. I need Rashard Penny to stay healthy. I need a Zeke Elliott type of guy. I need like a guy that can take the pressure off Jalen Hurts. You know what I mean? That's what I want.
I'm not denying Zeke. I'm not denying that Zeke can't have an impact still. I believe wherever Zeke goes, not here, that he'll have an impact. My only thing is I just can't trust him. I can't picture him in midnight green. I can't see him walking around in hurt season bucket hats and talking about Howie vision and him dapping it up with Jalen. He the ops, bruh. He's the full
Bruh, I'm telling
ops.
you, this is what I know.
Let me just say this real quick about. Go ahead. No,
He gonna run his hardest them 2 games every year. That's what I know. That's what I know. He gonna run his hardest against the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah, this is my take on Zeke, and I know, I still don't like that 3.8. I don't like how it dipped down like that. And you can say that, I mean, he shared the rock. Now, he still ran the rock a lot, but sharing the rock. So the fewer carries you have, the better your yards per carry should be. When Zeke was running like 400 times a year, he's never going to be that 5-yard a carry guy because he runs too many times. But you're talking about his least amount of run attempts with his worst amount of yards per carry. That bothers me in a sense of, you could say he was nicked up, and I'll give you that as an excuse. But the biggest thing to me, the only thing I talk about you want Zeke to be the goal line guy, and he would be. My thing is, how much money are we paying for just a goal line guy? How much money we're paying for Zeke? It can't be no near 4 or 5 million because we could have get at the Miles Sanders. And Miles Sanders had 1 less touchdown than Zeke. Well, you said 12, right? Zeke had 12. Miles had 11. And with Miles having 11, we still ran Jalen. Here's the thing. Miles can run it in at the 1. Kenny can run it in at the 1. Heck, Boston could run it in at the 1 with this offensive line. The coaching staff was the one putting Jalen in jeopardy. And again, I don't think Zeke's going to change Sirianni or Shane Steichen now. What's our guy's name? The OC? Brian Johnson, Jalen's guy. He might call it less because it's Jalen, but it's the coaches staff. We had qualified running backs to run in from the 1. We just said in hurt season we trust. So I agree though. He got to stop getting bodied at the 1-yard line. That's just scary.
And that's my point with Bijan too, is look at our coaching staff. When they came here, what did we say the whole time? Give Miles more touches, give Miles more touches, give Miles more touches. Who's to say that they're going to use Bijan right?
Yeah,
we had good running. Like you said, last season, we could have went with other options than Jalen Hurts all those times. And what did they say? They kept saying, when they kept asking him in the press conference about keeping Jalen out of harm's way, using him less, especially after the injury, what did he say? We're going to go with what works. It works. I mean, it's football. We're going to win games. We're going to go with what works. They gonna, who's to say? That's what he kept saying. They asked him this offseason about that. His coach's thing. He was saying he's still our biggest threat. Boom, boom. So who's to even say they're going to switch up from the game plan? We keep saying we want Bijan to protect Jalen, and in theory that works well. But is Nick Sirianni going to protect Jalen? That's the question mark. Because in the Bears game, why did he have so many design runs in that game?
Yeah, that was scary. That was ridiculous.
Yeah. I mean, it didn't make any sense. But
But I
sometimes
hear
we do things that don't make any sense.
LB, I will credit you this. We talked about that on GOAT Talk a solid 2 weeks before Zeke put us on the wish list, and I didn't talk about it. You brought it up and asked me, and I just let you talk about it like this. You know what I mean? So like we had it before it was a possibility. I said, I mean, I'm not going to hate it. I'm not going to hate the Eagles for doing it. I just wouldn't do it. And you gave me and I agree with your reasons. Like, he could be a nice power back for this team, but I'm good.
and he's a very underrated, blocking running back as well. You know what I mean? And he won a win. It ain't happening over there. Look at the teams on his wish list. Who was it? It was the Philadelphia Eagles, the Jets, right? Because the Jets probably gonna get A-Rod. And who else was it? Symone?
The Bengals.
The Bengals. They were mad. That was my go-to. I said
Jalen Hurts and Aaron Rodgers.
I said he just wants to play with a better quarterback. You can't be mad. And then Cowboy fans are running with that. I think they're still retweeting that, John.
Yeah, I mean, he ain't say he want to go play for Washington. You know what I mean? No, he want to go play for. He want to get to where we just came from. He want to be in a championship game. He want to be remembered. You know what I mean? His jersey in the Hall of Fame and Canton, his jersey in Canton for something he did his rookie year. He trying to get it in. Like I think Zeke will come over here, and I think it'll pay dividends. I think Jalen Hurts will be healthier. I think blitzes will be picked up better. Put it like this: if Zeke came to the Eagles today, he's the best running back in the running back room, right?
He's the most.
No. Zeke the best running back. No, y'all don't agree with that?
I don't. Like, I
Put some
don't-
respect on Kenny G.
That's what I'm saying. Like, Kenny
What you
G
talking
knows a lot.
about? Kenny G ain't never been asked to do with Zeke. Zeke was second fiddle last year.
He was to Miles Sanders. So if Miles Sanders, Kenny G, and okay, so if Miles and Zeke, who is the better running back between Miles and Zeke?
Miles
and Zeke? When last year?
Zeke
right now,
Zeke had
if
the
it
better
was-
career.
if it
Look,
was
Zeke is a
Miles right
beast.
now-
Was a beast.
If it was
Good.
Miles right now and Zeke right now, who's the better running back?
Hey man,
You
listen,
dead wrong. You
listen,
dead
listen,
wrong.
listen. And you know, I'm a Zeke fan, and you know, I ain't even trying to sugarcoat it because everybody want to crap on Zeke, right? Zeke only ran for 5 yards a carry for one season in his career. Zeke is a volume wear you down type of guy. Zeke ran for more first downs than Tony Pollard last year, and Zeke had more touchdowns than Tony Pollard last year. Zeke is the one that keep the chains moving, and Kenny Gainwell was the one that keep the chains moving for the Eagles. Every time Kenny Gainwell touched the ball, is a first down. You know what I mean? If Miles was like, and I have nothing against Miles, but man, I don't know. I mean, that's my answer. I don't know.
Let me just say this real quick. Again, it's different. Moving the chains from second and 4 is different than moving the chains in 3rd and 1. But I'll give you Zeke's ability now is still useful in the sense of you got the splash player in Tony Pollard, and you got the guy who's going to grind you out, run further, tough yardage, fall forward, all that. I agree. And Zeke has a dang near Hall of Fame career. His career is good. But if you ask me on a 1-game sample size going into this year, you know, listen, I've always been scared of Zeke when he was a Cowboy. He always killed the Eagles. I always said, watch out for him. I just think now Zeke is a volume guy, and I think that volume is starting to hurt him as much as it's hurting the defense, because the last 2 years, part of the excuse that the Cowboys would use is, man, we still want to keep Zeke, but it's not his fault. He's always been, but now he's getting banged up at a higher rate. He can't stay healthy. And so as much as I say that 3.8 yards per carry bothers me, and I try to give him an okay pass because he was hurt, but he hasn't been not nicked up since he's been the old Zeke. So that's my whole thing. And so using him in the way you want, behind, like as a number 2, like Tony Pollard, that's perfectly fine. But then again, then it comes into how much, like, I think Zeke in his head is like, yo, I'm not trying to sign for anything under than $4 million. You know what I mean? And that's still low, but that's, you know, he's not going to take no. I mean, every running back on our team is $2 million or less. You know what I mean?
I think he would. I think Zeke might take that because he has to. I haven't heard anybody working out Zeke. I haven't heard anybody visiting with Zeke. I haven't heard. It's been crickets since he even said he wanted to come to these 3 teams.
Jamal, what's the guy, Jamal from the Lions that had like 18 touchdowns? Jamal Williams, right?
Jamal Williams
took 4. Zeke got to be cool with 2.8.
Mm-hmm.
You just got to be cool with that, bro. That's just what it is.
Now, the thing about Zeke, I wouldn't be mad at Zeke on the cheap, because then Zeke would be the Rashad Penny. There'll be insurance policies for each other. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Because what I keep saying, if Rashad Penny is fully healthy, and I get the concern when has he been fully healthy? But if Rashad Penny is fully healthy, he's dangerous. This running back.
You don't need a running back. You don't need a running back.
So if we could go, instead of spending a top pick on a running back, we could have Zeke and Rashad Penny be insurance policies for each other for the cheap.
Mm-hmm. And you know, we got to find some way to mitigate the design runs and to mitigate the QB sneak. Now, it's still very useful to QB sneak, but come on, every time we got to the 1 yard line, we just gave it to Jalen because he squats 600 pounds. No, running backs need to go out there and get their money too. Yeah. You know what I mean? Jalen Hurts was asked to do a lot last year, and all of that. Half the time, he didn't even want to get up and celebrate. All them big ass offensive linemen, right? All them big ass offensive linemen just laying on him. You know what I mean? The 2-point conversion scared me to death in the Super Bowl, yo. He got hit like 5 times for that 2-point conversion. It felt like, you know what I mean? And I just feel like, you know, that's the best play we got because it works so well down there. Really? That's the best we can do.
I will say still rolling with it.
Yeah, right. Let's put that dude in jeopardy like that.
I will say this though. I think the QB sneaks, he definitely doesn't get to celebrate and all that because he's climbing out the pile and whatnot. But it doesn't seem to be that vicious. Like there's been times when he does that RPO read and they just that's when he got cracked. You know, like Again, Chiefs game in the Super Bowl, but what was that one game? I forgot where it was.
The Jags when it was raining.
Jags, bro. Yes.
Oh
that
my
was like,
God.
That's like cover your face a second type hit. And so you got to avoid them. Like, I agree with you. We do sneak at such a high rate. And listen, Pat Mahomes got hurt on a QB sneak, didn't he?
Right. His knee was like out of the socket. And guess who the camera went on as soon as it happened? Andy Reid. Why would you QB sneak with a quarterback that valuable? Everybody looking at Andy, he on the sideline looking crazy.
With the mustache.
You know what I'm saying? We don't want that to be us. We don't want that to be us.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to hear it's football. You can get hurt on any play. No, man. No. You got a higher chance of getting hurt as a QB on a QB sneak.
Let me ask y'all this. First of all, Palmsy made a good point a long time ago. I keep forgetting about Tyree Wilson. Tyree Wilson is a somebody that could keep Jalen Carter alive for us. Because a team like the Falcons could go Tyree Wilson. A team like the Bears, a lot of those teams, Tyree Wilson could be a savior keeping Jalen Carter at 10. Would y'all want if Jalen Carter's gone, we're at 10 and Tyree Wilson's there, would y'all want Tyree Wilson or would y'all still trade back?
I just started looking a little bit more at Tyree Wilson. I realized he's 23 years old. I didn't know he was that old. So I started looking at him today because a lot of people keep saying to me, like, I was talking about this with a couple people in a group chat and all that. It's like I kept saying Jalen Carter a trade back. And that's when they were saying, well, what about that offensive tackle? And then they threw Tyree Wilson. And so I started looking up his stuff. He's a guy that intrigues me. I want to do a little bit more before I'm sold at 10. Mm-hmm. I just think because we have such a gap after, the 95th pick, we don't pick again to 250. And I don't know how he wants to sit around with his hands folded for the 4th, 5th, and 6th, until it gets to the 7th. And so moving back at 10 and still getting a quality guy in the teens, but getting yourself in a 4th and a 5th, or a 4th or 5th and a 3rd next year, or whatever he can get, because how he can get some picks, I'm just not sure. And I will admit though, I've been slacking on it, just looking at as many prospects as I normally do. But he's a guy who does intrigue me, who should be around that 7 through 12 area.
They've been getting on us too on Twitter with our draft.
I mean, the 6'6". The 6. Oh yeah. Oh, we don't. Don't listen. Don't get me started with those guys over there. So with Tyree Wilson, what are you 6'6", 6'6" edge rusher? I mean,
I like Tyree. I really do, but I think the allure to me of Jalen Carter is the interior defensive line. I feel like if it's Tyree Wilson, I'm still comfortable. If Tyree Wilson's there at 10, I'm comfortable with trading back and getting Nolan Smith as an edge rusher and recouping picks. The reason why I'm so dead set on Jalen Carter is because of that help that we need on the interior. I'm not as dead set on a pass rusher at 10 as I am on an interior defensive lineman. Now, I'm willing to trade back if Jalen Carter's gone and Tyree Wilson's there and get a Nolan Smith or even a Will McDonald later, because I'm taking. You said what? I'm
sorry, girl. I'm taking Kalijah Cansey before I take the edge rusher, the 6'6" edge rusher. I'm gonna look at Kalijah Cansey because I'm on board with you. I agree that that interior pressure is what we really, really need. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Especially because one thing that Howie Roseman did that a lot of people are not really, giving enough praise to is he brought back the secondary. He brought back Bradbury and Slade. That was huge for real. Because I didn't think Bradbury was going to stay. You know what I mean? I knew Hargrave was gone. You know what I mean? I did think that Gardner Johnson was going to stay, but solidifying the outside on the cornerback position was huge this year. If you could get that interior bull rush to be equivalent to what it was last year, then you could still force some turnovers in this league. You know what I mean? And I think you absolutely can get better at the linebacking position. You know what I mean? We haven't really talked about that yet, but I think linebacker, it needs some attention in this draft as well.
Yeah, I will say this with Kalijah Cansey. What intrigues me about him is just the putting that type of athleticism next to the big guy in Jordan Davis. It's a healthy combination of speed and power. On stunts, you got offensive linemen backpedaling, preparing for the quick hand still violent, but quick hand, quick twitch, and Kalijah Kancey. Then he gets hit with a Jordan Davis bull rush, like the stunts there and the mismatches you can bring to an offensive line is big there. But again, Jalen Carter does offer you something in the sense that as much as teams want to focus on Hassan Reddick on the outside, Josh Sweat, 2 double-digit sack guys, you bring Bijan with a double-digit sack. Like Jalen Carter needs his like double team in his own, and Fletch started to get back to that double team type player last year himself. Right. Hargrave was, benefiting on some of that stuff around there. And listen, Hargrave is a great pass rush and D tackle, but he does lack something in the run game. I'm not trying to say that now because he's a Niner. Still,
we was been saying that.
Yeah. He's a great pass. He's he had the most. No, he was top 4, top 3 in sacks for D tackles. However, his run defense lacked a little bit, and so Kalijah Kancey alongside of Jordan Davis, who I think is going to be everything we. I'm not saying he's going to come out and be a Hall of Famer this year, but you're going to see more of Jordan Davis, I believe.
Bijan, go ahead and say it about Jalen.
Don't forget that guy's street.
Generational talent.
What's the guy named Kayvon Street?
Put some respect on the Wolfpack. That guy,
Katavian Street, right? I'm trying to get his name right. So yeah, man, I think he's excellent in run defense as well. I think Howie Roseman is putting an emphasis on that because if you remember, we had to go out and get Sue and Linval Joseph to stop, to help stop the bleedage at that position or in that part of our defense. We was weak at stopping the run. Zeke cooked us, in Philly that first game, especially in that second half. So, you brought in Street. He can help plug up the running lanes. Jalen Carter will definitely be able to help plug up the running lanes. But this is a big year for Jordan Davis, man. Jordan Davis got to show up because, in my opinion, Milton Williams is ahead of Jordan Davis on the depth chart because I seen more from Milton Williams last year than I seen from Jordan Davis, and Milton Williams barely played.
But is that because of Jordan's injury, though?
No, in the Super Bowl, I think Jordan Davis played well, but if you look at that run that Patrick Mahomes broke off, that kind of sealed our fate in a sense. Jordan Davis was being blocked by one man. One man. Like one man, every time I look at it, it makes my stomach hurt because he's like 3 times the size of the man that was blocking him. And I think Jordan Davis is a conditioning thing with him for sure. So he got to work on some of those things, in the offseason because Milton Williams is just a product of just where he was drafted at, in my opinion. Because Milton Williams, I think so far he's better than Jordan Davis.
I will say this look, 4 sacks from Milton Williams. He played good in his limited role. I look at it like this. I think you started to see early in the season who Jordan Davis was, the way he was able to stop the run and do what he needed to do there. I think coming back from a high ankle sprain as one of the most heaviest players in the league is going to take him a lot longer. I think he kind of came back sooner rather than later. And when he came back, never just got back to game speed. I'm not going to make excuses for the Super Bowl and whatnot. But one of our closest sacks, though, came from Josh Sweat when he got hands to the face on the same play that James Bradbury got called for holding. Those hands to the face, they didn't get called. Anyways, Jordan Davis had Mahomes in his hands until he did a little side thing. So, he was close again. I do agree with you on that play, LB. It's kind of like just fast forward it. I don't want to see it again. But I do think that Jordan Davis now understanding that the guys who came to save the day in the run when he was hurt are gone. Hargrave is gone. He's going to be asked to play more snaps. Again, was it the coaching staff saying Hargrave is going to get a contract next year? Fletch is making $14 million. Milton Williams already knows the scheme. Jordan Davis, you're only because he played, even when he was playing good versus the run before the injury, he was playing 16 snaps, 14 snaps, 21 snaps, 18 snaps. Right. Was that fully conditioning or because Milton knows and he's earned it? Fletch, $14 million, and he's a Hall of Famer. Hargrave on a contract year, and then you finally get him back, and now you got the 3 guys I talked about plus Sue and Linval. So was it more that there was players balling around him, or was it really that he just?
I think it was a little bit of. I think it was a little bit of.
It was a little bit of both.
When Jordan Davis got hurt that first time, he did re-aggravate that injury when he came back. because I do remember like holding my breath, and it was being reported that like he was getting checked on, so he might not have been 100% healthy like when he came back. But the only thing with Jordan Davis to me is, I don't know if this should be a concern, but like when we keep talking about him dropping weight and losing weight, is that going to take away from him being a force? Like, is he going to lose some of his ability if he loses some of his weight? Is he big and in the way, or is it technique? I'm just saying, like, what's the balance of both? Like, is he going to be as effective stopping the run if he's smaller?
This is what I do know, though. I do know if you bring in Jalen Carter, it ain't gonna do nothing but boost his game. A guy he's familiar with, and it's not gonna do nothing but help, Nakobe Dean as well. One thing that I do regret for last year was that we did not throw Nakobe Dean in the fire. He should have been thrown in the fire. With so much talent that was around him, he would have been fine. And he would have been ready to accept this role that now he's being forced into. He's basically going to be the green dot. He's going to be the quarterback of the defense, I think. You know what I mean? And I think he's ready for it. But, had we thrown him in the fire, he probably would be a Pro Bowler this year instead of having to wait another year to see the best we can see from him.
So are y'all concerned about that linebacker position? I feel like right now it's Nicholas and
Morrow
and Nakobe Dean. Are y'all concerned because of the fact that, Nakobe Dean, I have utmost faith in Nakobe Dean, but it's still, we're going to have training camp, we're going to have practices, but it's still a question mark of what we're going to get on this level because we haven't seen that much of him. And I see a lot of people kind of concerned going back and forth, like if Nakobe Dean, I pretty much his size is what has people concerned, but what do y'all think about the linebacker room right now?
Well, I will say this. Shout out to TJ Edwards. He deserved the contract from the Chicago Bears. Played great last year for the Philadelphia Eagles, right? He was our best linebacker out there. I think Kaiser played good. Then he kind of got a little down, was a little up and down. But Kaiser was solid. He was solid this year too. I'm not going to lie. However, the back end is so good. The front seven is so good. What did we really ask from these linebackers last year? Kaiser was a 1-year rental for $5 million. We knew that kind of was going to happen. And TJ Edwards, as much as I love him and we saw the growth, this was a guy who was on the bench who couldn't get past Alex Singleton and Nathan Gary for most of his career, right? As we talk about Trey Sermon, you ain't playing for a reason, bro. We got to say the same thing to TJ Edwards until he got his chance. And we've heard guys in this defense who are not here credit what's around them. So I think, though, I'm not trying to bump up Nicholas Morrow, but he's played 17 games for the Chicago Bears. He's a covering linebacker. But I watched the tape against Philly, and yes, Hurts was killing him with his legs, but our running backs weren't really getting off, and Nicholas Morrow was closing some gaps. He does over pursuit and gets a little too happy now. But if I'm going to see a ceiling from him, it's going to be when he looks to the secondary and he got guys like Big Play Slay, Avonte Maddox, and James Bradbury. And when he looks up front, he got a front seven, or at least most of the pass rushers who just was on the number 1 sacking team in the NFL. So I think he can hit his ceiling there. And I think Nakobe Dean, when the guys up front do their job, Nakobe Dean does his job. He has trouble at times shedding tackles because of the size. I do think by the time it comes to game day, September, he's going to have more of a NFL body, but that's been his knock. But he can hit the gap, see ball, get ball, and you're going to have that if the front line is doing what it does. So I think we lost 2 linebackers. We got to replace them. But I'm not going to sit here and say like Kaiser is so much better than what Nicholas Morrow can possibly give us.
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to downshade TJ because I wanted him back. But I do think Nakobe is going to do it. So I think you could bump us back a spot if we get hurt, injured. Now we're looking at Sean Bradley, Christian Ellis, Patrick Johnson. I agree with LB. If you can get a linebacker in this draft with one of these, top 100 picks, go ahead and do it. If not, you might be really looking at the linebacker spot for that depth piece, adding another piece added to it. In the same time, we got like how we got CJ Gardner-Johnson and James Bradbury, one trade, one sign. You might be looking for that, but I wouldn't be opposed to looking at linebacker with the 95th overall pick, maybe the 62, depending on where the board lies. But that's how I feel. I'm not fully like, we lost 2 Hall of Fame linebackers. You know what I mean? We lost good players that came up when it was their time.
Right. You know what I mean? I wanted to make a splash in free agency and linebacker personally. I really wanted Bobby Wagner, but it didn't happen. You know what I mean? I don't know who's still out there. Nicholas Morrow, I'm not mad at it. He does have some problems. You know what I mean? He takes bad angles sometimes. But, when you got good players around you, the bad angles you take, you know what I mean? He's always around the ball. You know what I mean? He's always around the ball. So I'm not mad at it. I'm expecting real big things from Nakobe Dean. But I think you need another linebacker. I want a veteran linebacker to help kind of come out there and round out this room. You know what I mean? That level, we've been through this before, guys, not having a great linebacker room. We begged for it. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And, we can repair this. You know what I mean? I don't think it's so far off. People want to act like we lost Ray Lewis and Ed Reed when we lost. Right. They act like Gardner Johnson was Ed Reed. Now listen, I wanted Gardner Johnson back.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I wanted Edwards back as well. But, those guys are replaceable, man. That's the facts of the matter. Even Gardner Johnson is replaceable. You know what I mean? So some guys got to step up. Nakobe Dean, Reed Blankenship, two names that come to mind when you talk about guys that you want to see more from. But, linebacker and safety are the positions to where something got to happen immediately.
Yeah, I'm good with, of course, we need to add some more punch, but I don't think it's like the linebacker room is flaming on fire right now.
Yeah.
I'm really good with getting a linebacker in the third round. Maybe, depending on how it shakes out. We don't know how that's going to shake out, but I'm definitely feeling like getting a linebacker is definitely going to be necessary at some point in this draft. But I know we haven't heard from Sean Desai, but I'm really liking what I'm hearing from these players because it seemed like all these defensive pickups I know we're coming off a Super Bowl run, but they all seem really excited to come on this team and play on this defense. I know I don't know why we haven't had a presser with Sean Desai or anything, but I really feel like dudes is going to be stepping up. I feel like Nakobe Dean is going to answer the call. I feel like Milton Williams is going to answer the call. Jordan Davis is going to answer the call. These guys seem motivated on another level. Like Justin Morrow, when in his press conference, talking about how excited he is coming here, how much we're going to love this defense. Greedy Williams smiling so hard. It's something special that we really brewing.
I almost forgot about Edmonds from Pittsburgh.
He's never been on the NFL team before.
Right.
I finally got a family. I finally got a home. I'm like, go.
That was a Sean Desai pick. That is the perfect box safety for the scheme that Sean Desai plays, man. You know what I mean? Edmonds, I think, is going to be a dog with us as well. You know what I mean? They're getting guys that can stop the run. That's what Edmond does. You know what I mean? He's good at playing close to the line of scrimmage and stopping the run. That's what Street was brought here for. So this defense is going to look different. It's going to have different components to it, but the system will kind of mirror what we saw last year. I'm glad he ain't talking in no press conference. I'm glad. Go out there, do your homework, and keep building small pieces to bring on this football team. I'm glad. I'm used to my defensive coordinator not talking. Ours didn't talk after the Super Bowl.
He did a lot of talking about us to the other team, though, right? I know what to do next time.
Right.
Next time. There's no next time. You ain't going to the Super Bowl again in Arizona.
Not with no Kyler Murray. So
no Kyler
remember
Murray.
what you got and send us Zach Ertz back.
Oh yeah, yo, and LB, you didn't. You don't got to, but I'm definitely bumping Kyler back from last year when we did.
What? I can't wait till we do our top 32 QB thing. Kyler might be in the parking lot. Listen, I had him where he was supposed to be last year. I think where you have him at, Mike? Did you have him top 10?
No. I had him like 12 or
13.
Or something. 12 or 13.
I had him like 19 or 15. Everybody was saying I was crazy. I'm like, boy, it's trash, yo. I'm telling y'all. But it is what it is. We're gonna see. He around 20 this year.
Yeah. I like that. I like that. Off the top of the head. But look, staying with the linebacker and safety thing, I agree with you with Terrell Edmonds. I love that pick. But here's the thing. We lost 2 safeties. We lost 2 linebackers. You bring in 2 safeties. You bring in a linebacker, and you bring in a linebacker that was here last year that you believed in. He just didn't play due to other guys in front of him, money, blah, 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 blah. That being said, you're still thin there, though, right? Like, even if you're like Terrell Edmonds, Reed Blankenship, Nicholas Morrow, Nakobe Dean, they could do it. But behind them is like, let me get my football player dictionary out there. Who's that guy? You know what I mean? Like, we got to go to the football thesaurus, So that being said, you could still use some depth there because it is football. People get hurt. But if you're telling me, this got to be what goes out there week one. Okay, I think you can get the job done, especially when you look at, again, Nicholas Morrow, Nakobe Dean, Terrell Edmonds, Reed Blankenship. But let's not forget the bookend corners. Let's not forget one of the best slot corner. Let's not forget, 55 sacks along the starters on that front line. And that all helps. I keep saying this, and I will say it. C.J. Gardner-Johnson said it himself. He had a great season last year, right? But he said after the Saints game, part of the reason why I'm able to do what I can do is because of them corners doing what they do, right? He said it. And he humbly said, Philly make me better. And so Terrell Edmonds probably thinking the same thing. Nicholas Morrow. What I'm saying is these guys, they didn't see, but they watched TJ Edwards be a product of the Eagles defense after sitting on the bench behind guys who are not that good. And so they have the opportunity of a lifetime,
especially Edmonds. He got to be licking his chops. He's here because of dude. Right. That's what I'm saying. I saw it, but he's here because a dude didn't accept the deal. They giving out deals to safeties over there. If I go over there and play well, I could possibly get a deal.
He was ecstatic.
Imagine if Terrell Edmonds again. He's only been in the league 5 years, right? He started every year. Former first-round pick. Imagine if Terrell Edmonds balls out, and then
he's going to ball out. I think he's going to ball out.
And then we find out a nice little, 7, 8-ish. I'm not saying if he balls out and is worth it. I'm not saying right now, but CJ gonna be mad if he's watching Terrell Edmonds sign a little $8.5, $9 million deal, which is more than his for like 3 years. Starting the next 3 years after this season, right? Yeah. He gonna be a little upset. Well, he ain't. I think the opportunity is there. He blocked me.
Oh, CJ did block you. I forgot.
Why? Because you tweeted that tweet him talking about
the financial advice tweet.
Yeah,
did you tweet
that? I didn't even say like any. All I did is put the laughing emoji and then I quote tweeted it and put the laughing emoji, and it went off. It cycled around Twitter, but I ain't say nothing. And then if he went on my Twitter and looked down, I'm defending this guy.
Oh, he won't looking.
Hey, but he blocked it. He blocked me.
Man, them players was heavy on the Twitter streets during that period of time. You couldn't say nothing.
Everybody was
out. AJ Brown heavy on the streets. Chauncey was heavy. Darius Slay, Jennifer Slay. I had to delete like 5 tweets when Darius Slay came back.
Yeah. What did I say? I was like, I said something about Slay. I said he chased the bag. The next thing you know, he came back. I was like, damn.
Right.
I thought he chased the bag.
Tweets real quick since he back. Yeah. What's up? Welcome back.
Now I can say one thing is though, when Slay was going through that, I ain't say nothing but love. I ain't giving nothing but love. I said, listen, we're losing a dog here. I understand. Right. I said, if it saves this much money, I understand the premise, but I'm upset that we're losing Slay because I was really upset. But CJ Gardner-Johnson, I said, like, look, he signed with the Lions. I'm not gonna cap and say he wasn't good. I'm not gonna be that dude. He was good. I wanted him back. But I did say, stop trying to say Detroit got a better roster than us. Don't say that.
Yeah. I don't want him throwing shade. Like that was unnecessary.
For me, it was the Jalen Hurts shade. Now, I don't know if he was doing it on purpose. That was the worst. That was the worst part about it for me. Like, cause like, if memory serves me correctly, you was on that defense that couldn't hold water in the Super Bowl. You was out there running around. Jalen Hurts was making sure y'all was even in the game. And when the game was on the line to get the ball back who just tied the game up, y'all was out there. Now, he was one of the only ones that was out there playing at a different speed trying to win it. But come on, man, what we talking about?
I just never seen anything like that. The level of pettiness, the level of bitterness, it's screaming that you mad. You still wanted to be here. That's what it's screaming. Like
facts.
What did Isaac do? Thank you. All love. That's it. What's up?
Miles, you ain't hear nothing from Miles.
I couldn't even mourn Miles. I couldn't even do none of that because all the drama that was going on with like Miles was just, it was like CJ, Darius, Miles signs with the Panthers, CJ, Darius. I didn't even get no time to make no video. Yo, I never even made a video on Miles Lee.
Yeah, let's all give a moment of silence for Miles. Yo, you're right though.
Right.
CJ was like a cloud of smoke for like 2.5 weeks, bro. It was just draining us. I mean, there was CJ video, and LB. That's how I found out I was blocked. somebody was like, yo, you see what this man is doing? It was the Lamar Jackson thing. When
Right.
somebody sent me a screenshot of it, and I'm like, well, somebody sent it to me and it said, you can't see this tweet. I said, whose tweet is it? He says CJ Gardner-Johnson. So I said, what is he saying? So he sent me a screenshot of it, and then I went and I said, he really blocked me. All right, cool.
Yeah,
Because I
that's
was about to
crazy.
make a video on him anyway, so we gonna add this to the file.
I had to keep checking to make sure I wasn't blocked by Darius, because I love Darius Slay, and I've been going on
Right.
and on and on and on. It was just one tweet. Nina Austin, y'all know Nina. She be on Twitter and on the stream. She was
Right. Miss Austin.
At that point, Darius had tweeted, where am I going next? It was when he had tweeted that basically he was gone. Like, let's see where I land next. So Nina Austin was like some crying emojis. It was like, I need to pick me up. So I just replied, I'm always engaging with Nina, nothing out the ordinary. I said, we won our last Super Bowl without Darius. We'll win our next Super Bowl without him too. And then people was getting over. I was like, she asked for a pick me up. I'm just trying to keep
Yo, Nina got Nina got pulled in them Twitter streets. So when you reply to her, and if it goes off,
right,
see,
you like delete. What's he saying?
That one tweet starts cycling around. And next you know, Slay's like this.
Who's this? Right, her and her mom. Her mom is going viral like every week. She definitely got pulled in them Twitter streets. But look, this was my thing with Darius Slay though. So my thing was the rumors where he was asking for more money. That's what kind of, listen, I'm never here to say what nobody's entitled to. That's not how life works. But as when you're looking at this, I got to keep saying this is a business. We're going to be fair about it. There's only one person on the roster that's eligible to ask for more money to me, and that's Hassan Reddick. Hassan Reddick is getting paid around the 18th best guy at his position when he's damn near the number 1, number 2, or number 3 edge rusher in the National Football League. He is within every right. If Hassan Reddick at the beginning, I want more money, I ain't playing. He got that right. He earned that right. Let's be for real here. How many sacks he had? Like 17?
16 in the regular season, and then if you add it up, yeah.
Like, and he's been proven, because he had the past 3 years, he had 3 different teams, 3 different defensive coordinators, and double-digit sacks every year.
Exactly.
So, imagine how he about to feast with Sean Desai. This ain't nothing new to him.
That's what I'm saying. So the 17th highest paid edge rusher ain't make an all-pro team. You know what I mean? Our guy did. So he got, you got to watch out for that. If he come out here at 15 sacks or 13 sacks, he got to ask for more bread. It is what it is. You talking about a guy that had double-digit sacks 4 straight years, and he's better than Micah Parsons. And I said that in the beginning of the year, and people thought I was crazy.
He had a better season for sure. You got one, we got one. But you listen,
right? You know what I mean?
LB, you're gonna have to entertain that Nakobe Dean take. We're not gonna get all into that, but that Nakobe Dean take, get that junk fresh, ready for September. Just to
yeah.
Get the same.
I forgot I said that.
Around that August, September time.
He didn't say he was gonna be him in his rookie year. Nakobe
right. I said he could possibly have a better career than him. Now
if we draft Bijan, I already know they're gonna be bringing up rolling old tape, rolling old screenshot. And I've said several times, like, if we draft Bijan, I'm gonna be excited. Like, I just feel like if I was drafting on my board, I would be going defense. But if we trade it back to like 17, and let's say, would y'all get a Brian Branch? Would y'all prioritize safety with a first round, or y'all just going defensive line like at 17?
I'll go safety with a first round. I just don't think right now. I don't think you should go corner, because both of our corners came back and they're extended. You know what I mean? I think you could wait another year to go corner, but yeah, I would go safety in the first round.
Yeah, but
I like Brian Branch, but a lot of people saying he played nickel.
He can play nickel. He can play, but he's a safety. But here's my thing. Look, and I'm totally off the corner too, because like best for next year, I agree with you, LB. But I'm not gonna be mad at all if we get a corner that, like, I do believe in that Gonzo and Witherspoon has the physical traits and the ball skills to be that long-term CB1 solution for a team. And I understand you don't want a guy to sit on the bench, blah, 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 blah. But it is football. Injuries happen. And I do think Bradbury's going to play out the long of his contracts, but you never know. And listen, this ain't Twitter, so I can't. Slay not gonna hear me. You never know if some Slay stuff don't transpire next off season, right? And now we're like left on an island with only one CB or something. So, if The Eagles believe, and trust me, even when we needed a corner, even when we wanted a corner because we weren't sure about Bradbury coming back or Slay, I wanted a corner, but I was weary because we ain't draft a first-round corner since 2002. So even when I wanted one, I was weary. I doubt that's going to be on Howie's mind as we talked about trenches and fan favorite stuff. But if he did, I wouldn't be like, it's a wasted pick. I would have to see how it plays out because now I learned my lesson. I was mad when we draft Jalen, not because of Jalen Hurts the player, but because of what I thought about the guy in front of Jalen and blah, 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 right? We need a player. We need a guy who's going to help us now. And now look at it. You know what I mean? So again, what if next year, off seasons, Slay plays this joke again, and then we do got a cornerback for 10 years. That's fitting in with the Surtains, the Sauce Garners, the JC Horns, because these young boys been balling as of late in the early rounds.
Yep.
Asante Samuel Jr.
So yes.
Yeah,
second
I
round pick.
Understand too. I understand, of course, like we got Bradbury, we had Slay, we have Maddox, but even still, you talking about next offseason, this season, shoot, man down, we could have another dog right there. And if we get a Christian Gonzalez, so we get a
We got greedy. We
did get greedy.
And he's younger. So
and he is young too. We did get greedy.
I think we're straight. I think
I can understand like the disappointment if we go corner because it's like we redshirting him essentially, yada yada yada. But we can't deny the fact that Slay is older, and we did just play all these games with Slay. Avonte Maddox is injury prone, so I wouldn't be mad if we get a dog. Like if we get a dog on defense, I'm not mad. Period. And Christian Gonzalez,
he need to play. That's what I'm saying, though. He need to play, though. He need to start. If you're getting Christian Gonzalez, he need to start. I think right now the way we are right now is we need to look at one of them Maryland guys. We could probably get in the second round or something like that if we're gonna go corner. Like Christian Gonzalez got to start.
Yeah, you're right.
You know what I mean? That's what I think. He got to start. So
I agree. And listen, I was nervous when we thought we needed one. So I still think it's a lesser chance, but again, look at all the players we named. Look at the scenarios we talked about, moving up a little bit, staying at 10. Like I don't think Howie's going to be able to disappoint me.
Yeah,
I don't think.
Yeah.
Well,
it's a high possibility.
Peter, the only way people will be disappointed. I mean, I would be.
No, Van Ness will disappoint me. That would disappoint me, even though he put Peter on his back pockets. That's the video that's circulating around. Van Ness would still disappoint me at 10. Van Ness at 10 would highly disappoint me.
Okay, but if you traded back and got Van Ness, you still be mad?
Yeah. Van Ness in the first round. It's too much talent. Van Ness in the first round would disappoint me.
Well, look, LB, you got to say this though. It will disappoint you until you see, because you know
that's facts. That's like, facts.
Because people passed on TJ Watt, and when TJ Watt was taken, and I'm not trying to compare him to TJ Watt, but like you knew Nick Bosa, you knew the Bosa brothers were going to be the Bosa brothers, but TJ Watt got passed up a couple times, and when they took him, they didn't think he was going to be leading the league in sacks or something. So I'm not saying that's Van Ness's future because he's a hockey guy, right? Like he played late. He didn't even start last year at Iowa State. So all that being said,
what? he in a top 30 visit?
Maybe
Lordy. Nah.
It could be one of them smoke screens though.
Yeah. The one I did a video on a Todd McShay mock draft, and he had us taking Lucas Van Ness at 10, and then he had us taking another edge rusher from I think Kansas State. I can't say his name. It's one of them long names. Somebody in the chat might spell it out, but the Kansas State edge rusher. But he had us going back-to-back edge rusher. I'm like, people gonna be lazy
mad on them. The national media be lazy on them mock drafts because
the comments were crazy. The comments were like throwing up at this mock draft. I'm like, don't kill me. I'm only telling you what Tom McShay said.
I hate when they do that.
I'm doing a mock draft right now, and right now at 10, what's left is Tyree Wilson, Christian Gonzalez, Kalijah Kancey, Luke Van Ness, Deontay Banks from Maryland, Branch, Joey Porter. It's a lot of stuff there.
Yo, look at this. This is what I did for fun. I don't know if you can see it, if it's gonna come in clear. Look. It's not gonna come in clear. Look at that. It's coming in.
Yeah, Nolan, Kalijah.
Antonio Johnson, Chardonnay.
And look at this, LB. Look how I finagle the first round picks next year and second. Look at that. Now it's died. Hold on.
Yeah.
So I traded back twice.
Oh, okay. I see what you did.
Look, I got Nolan Smith, Kalijah Kancey, Antonio Johnson, Zach Charbonnet, a first from Tampa and a second from New York.
Okay.
That's not happening, but that's some robbery right there. You know what I mean?
We about to see Ski Mask Howie.
You know who a lot of people not talking about either? Who the Philadelphia Eagles could literally draft Mozzie Smith from Michigan.
He was in my last mock draft. I like Mozzie.
At 10?
Yeah, he is.
Or
No.
30?
No. I got him in the second. So I traded back and got a second round pick. It was like number 40 from Pittsburgh, and I got Mozzie Smith. I got an A on that draft too.
Yeah. Like I said, yo, if Howie came out again with the quality players of like a Nolan Smith, a Kalijah Kancey, and he got a first round for next year, I'm automatically done. Like I might not even watch the draft the rest of the year. No, I'm kidding. I will. But imagine getting Nolan Smith, Kalijah Kancey, and getting a first round pick because you traded back out of 10 so far. You finagled somebody for the first round last year. And listen, when we traded with the Dolphins, we went back 6 spots and got a first round. So if we went back from 10 to 19, that's a first round pick thing. So imagine if we went from 10 to 19, grab Nolan Smith at 19, you get Tampa's first round pick next year, and then you can grab Kancey at 30. Not saying you really could, but if you came out with 2 players like that, plus another Ski Mask Howie move, oh Lord.
That's what I'm saying. This draft can go 50 million ways.
I'm excited for it.
But don't get too excited when the offense is
It's gonna be Pete, Philly Pete.
I ain't gonna lie, they draft Bijan. I'm gonna be like, I'm gonna throw my hat, man.
Throw it in.
No, you won't.
Throw it in.
No, I ain't gonna throw. No, I ain't gonna throw because you never know. That could be the piece that make a Super Bowl champ.
Like, is that an excited throw or a piss?
Pissed off.
Now look,
the draft reactions. This year's draft reactions gonna be crazy.
LB gonna be like this. He gonna throw his hat and then he gonna pull the 500 draft 5 hat.
Right. I can show with 500 next week. He trying to sell me on it.
Right.
500 trying to sell me on it.
On selling t-shirts the next day. Feed 5.
Right. 500 trying to sell me on it. You know what I mean? So we're gonna see. I want to hear his sales pitch. That's
we gonna see. But no, that would be hilarious though. LB copped the 5 hat on the low. Don't tell nobody. He drafted. He throw his off for a second. Just puts that junk on, all pissed off, wearing it mad as hell until the 30th pick.
I'm gonna get mine overnighted. I'm gonna just get it overnighted.
You might as well go order it now.
Right. We're gonna see though.
Oh Lord.
All right, y'all. This was fun. Like I said, draft night, it could go a billion different ways. So we just gonna stay tapped in, stay locked in, see what happens. Any last words?
That's it.
No, I'm good. You know what I mean? What y'all streaming for the draft?
I should be. Cause I feel like this draft is just too exciting because I just don't know what we could be getting a safety. We can get an offensive lineman, a defensive lineman. We could be getting Jalen Carter. We could be trading up. It's just so many different things that could happen in this draft. Like,
right. I'm definitely going to be streaming. So we're going to see how it shake out, man. I'm excited, man, to see who's going to be the new Philadelphia Eagles on day 1.
2 of them, maybe, unless we trade back the 30th. Then we got to wait because it's only the first round and then the second round the next day, right? Am I not mistaken?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
All right, y'all. We out.
Peace.
All right.